So you're saying Native Americans? Okay, you're saying Native. Okay, so let me understand. Okay, I understand, Jimmy. You're saying Native Americans are more inferior than Palestinians.
I guess. Who knows? I don't know. Did you look up the numbers?
And you would look at the current geopolitical climate of the context today, and you'd come to that conclusion.
I don't know. You want to look up the numbers? I don't know. How many Palestinians are there?
You know the numbers. You know the numbers.
I don't know the numbers.
Oh man, this is bro, Timmy. This is really bad.
Losers. I don't compare the losers of a conflict to each other. That's a weird thing to sit down and do.
No, Jimmy, don't be dishonest. Don't be dishonest. You did earlier. You drew an analog. You drew an analog between the Native Americans and the Haitians. That's a comparison.
I didn't draw an analog.
Yes, you drew an analog.
No, you did not. No, I didn't.
You said when you were explaining your position. When you were explaining your position to Eric, you said just like with the Haitians, right? And you were talking.
They were also colonized. Yes, they were also colonized.
That's an analog.
All I did. No, I said,
that's an analog.
I have no dogs in the fight. Look, don't. I said, Hewitt. I said, I have no dogs in the fight. My family's Navy. We were also colonized.
Okay,
so when I'm saying this about Native Americans,
maybe I got it wrong, Jimmy. Maybe I got it wrong. Let me ask you. Maybe I got it wrong. In this conversation, did you not give out like more than one example of a loser group?
No, only spoke about Native Americans.
Only Native Americans.
Wow.
So you never. So Haitians aren't losers.
Of course they are.
So Africans, the ones that you're referring to historically, aren't losers as well. You did. You mentioned them. You didn't go into great depth of detail, but you did mention Africans.
My family's from Haiti. So when I'm bringing this up, I'm not being biased.
Okay.
That's all I did.
Okay, wait. Okay, and you say, and you not being biased is to say what? That your family is also of a loser stock, right?
No, that's not the context I used it in, but you can go ahead and say, yeah, sure.
No, I understand. The bottom line is you brought more than two groups to the discussion. Okay, no problem. Okay, no problem, Jimmy. No problem, Jimmy. Haitians, as well as Native Americans. These are two groups of people that you can identify have survived and
throw Nigerians in there too, man. Fuck these Nigerians, man. Fucking throw them in there too.
Go ahead.
I agree. Listen, that's a separate discussion.
And
the point is,
you the one who was across the bow.
You were the one who said it.
was expecting a warrior.
Hey, there's a reason y'all come down here. Listen, my point is, listen, Jimmy, my question to you is this. You would honestly legitimately using your logic come to the conclusion that in a society that exists today at a lower rate of proliferation and a lower rate of population survival is inferior to that of one that is experiencing a higher population. So for example, in the Scandinavian countries, like say Finland specifically, Finland is going through a bit of a population dip. India is going on a population rise. Are you saying that India is superior to Finland?
Yes.
So can you
yes, a lot of Western society is adopting a very progressive stance on things.
He attacked us. He did nothing but the...
Yes.
Ultimately, all that matters is the rate of birth. The birth rate is the only thing that you look for.
By that standard, ants are the most superior life forms. What's up, gang?
No, it wouldn't be ants, it'd be sea urchins.
The interesting thing is, all of the points that you made before about culture, all of these things become completely irrelevant because if you say India is the most successful and most superior nation because of their proliferation rate, like how much of their culture is preserved versus how much of it is a remnant of colonialism?
Yeah, they're basically British. They're basically just like
basically British.
Train soldiers to charge across the killing field with enemy gunfire. Greeks as employing such a charge to close the distance with the Persians at the Battle of Rafah. We find ourselves in Greece as a small
It's gonna be a TKO, Jimmy, bro.
Indians are scammers, Jimmy. Indians are fucking
What's funny about
scammers.
this conversation? Jimmy, you and I both know why secretly in your heart of hearts you giggled once I pressed you about Native Americans being inferior to Palestinians right now.
Well, I don't think I giggled. Did I giggle, guys?
Yeah, you did. You did. Yeah, you gave it away, bro.
Huey, what was it? I missed that part. What did the giggle reveal?
The giggle revealed that he's dishonest and he knows that he's slipped quite a few times. And listen, bro,
There's going to be a cognitive dissonance which is going to fight.
it's done, bro. Like it's just like you can't come back from
serious,
this.
and I'm not changing my position. I'm going.
I know.
I'm taking this position to the
even
grave.
if we was to hold on, Jimmy, because we engaged first. So even to go back and to use the Christianity argument and the inferiority, but you know there was a culture that was created on a society level that people abide by. We can actually look at the Native Americans and the U.S. laws in certain districts and states that have incorporated Native American laws and kept them intact while the people have disappeared. Done. You're smoked, bro. Have a good night. Have a good night, Jimmy.
Jimmy, would you say Nigerians?
It was good, bro, but you done, bro.
Jimmy, would you say Nigerians are superior to Japanese people? To the Japanese?
Oh, that's an interesting comparison.
Culture battle, go!
Yes.
It's incredibly broad, and I think probably you should more accurately describe by skill set as far as like inferiority or superiority, because you can say that someone won the war, but perhaps they're superior at killing people. so maybe superior at killing people.
But I know why.
Or maybe superior at having babies or providing, a healthy environment for growing children so they don't die. So you could think that. So you really look at skills.
The only thing that matters.
Correct.
So are Indians
If you look at population growth, Nigeria, I see why Jimmy would say, because at first glance you would think, well, Japan, that's blah, blah, blah. But when you look at their population growth and their protocols around having children, sustenance, it's abysmal. When you look at Nigeria, on the other hand, there's going to be a billion Nigerians in less than 100 years. And so all Nigeria, one more thing, all Nigeria really needs to do is someone somehow stop this corruption pipeline and get back to what they started about a decade ago, actually trying to build an industry like Silicon Valley, like that type of stuff. And like Jimmy pointed out, if they can do that billion Nigerians in 100 years, that's going to be very fruitful for them. So I get why he would say it's superior to Japan.
No problem. But King, what I was that by his logic, India is superior to America.
No, so Jimmy, if that's your, I don't know, Jimmy. That I would disagree.
Okay, listen to what Huey said. He's saying by his logic.
By his logic.
Yeah,
He's not making a direct claim. It's like it's kind of a reductio. Where when you confession to logic.
Slavery! Right for you? Yeah. Is the only Asian Confederate?
Yeah, put it this out. He comes from China. I always assumed, like, when Chinese people back in the day came here, they gave them options. China boy. Waterman? Opium den, railroads, or Confederate soldiers. So what you want?
Interested in the immigrants that are not American.
We're also assuming that there's like a gender element here.
Giles.
Oh yeah.
Can I shoot you? You should be comfortable with the following claim. Indians are so East Asian Indians are superior to Americans.
If they stay on track, they eventually will.
Okay.
Oh, so right
Wait,
now,
why are they not?
we need an ethnic population
So the
search
Philippines
list.
is up.
Right now,
Can I?
but an ethnic population search list.
Yeah, this is all genetic ethnics.
And right there,
If you did
you'd be
shoot
like,
me,
okay, whatever's the one on that
and the
list
bullet
is
bounced
the
off,
most superior.
it might accidentally hit someone else.
That's what you're saying.
And ants are the highest life form on Earth now.
No.
No, they're not. Sea urchins are.
Sea urchins. Sorry.
What about bacteria? Is that life form?
You're right, actually. Bacteria is the greatest of all.
No. But
Just
the
hand me that.
problem is you still have to take into account. You still have to take
Thank you,
into account.
man.
It's not just the birth rate. You still have to take into account the ability to exit in the world, and I think that's what Jimmy's
So that gets even messier because your ability to execute is based off of the psychological tools that you use, for example, like language, right? Now, if we were talking about what language is superior, it would be English. Sure, there's somewhere too. But like, if you want to talk about how Indians are going to survive in the world, they're going to survive by learning English. Are they still Indian if they all speak English?
Alright, so that's a good question. Again, when you mention America,
Fuck you, bloody, fuck you! Fuck you!
it's fucking messy because America it's not a country we have made, right? So,
Which Indian group? There's many groups within India.
CEO of Microsoft. One of the preeminent
Is it Gujarati? The Shamat is Sri Lankan. And also the head of the CEO. What kind of Indian is he? What sect is he?
This is what makes it messy, right? In America, America's like Asian American. You got these people here that is American. Like a lot of us are not natives, but we're coming from the countries. But we're coming from countries that have a huge population growth. And so we still have that. So look, the CEO
So,
of
Jimmy,
Microsoft
what's
still has
ethnicity do you think is
let
the
me
most?
finish. Microsoft still has family over there. A lot of these Indians that are making money over here still has family over there. So as they're getting successful over here, it does strengthen. It does.
How many ethnicities are in India?
That's a good question. There's a couple of them.
Which ethnicity?
There's like 70 languages spoken in India.
Wait, I guess there's 10 list, right? Which do you think is number one of the population? Currently, the highest population would insinuate some type of birth rate, right?
It's
Sure,
probably the
but then you could end up with the China situation where the birth rate is on the decline, but they still have like a
But they're still heavily populated, so they're still like either they're on the way to losing second to first.
we pull back and you like look at the societies that build X, Y, and Z, it makes a lot of sense in this day and age to look at who has a birth rate protocol that actually works.
But King, you know why this is kind of difficult? The reason why?
Yeah, go ahead.
Look, we initially started this conversation by inferior and superior based off of intelligence. And then, what's up, brother? And then it came to dominance.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about fucking birth rate. So it seems
Okay, so you don't take birth rate as a measurement for intelligence or dominance? You don't see.
no, but I gotta get my haircut right now, so I'll be.
I want to discuss that with you, Brian.
No problem.
All right, for sure.
I would agree with Jimmy that it is a measurement. Maybe not the entire measurement,
It must be.
but it has to be, yes. It must be. That's correct.
If you are a quote-unquote intelligent population, but within your culture you have policies that don't promote the proliferation of your population, then you're not intelligent.
Yes, that is literally the textbook definition of what makes somebody a fool and yet still smart or still, intelligent. You could be a fool, and that's what that is, where you're smart, but you don't take into account the things that sustain you or make you actually work or makes you actually, have a protocol for maintenance. And a lot of cultures, and this is why we're very critical of secularism and all of these other isms that essentially try to get away from God, and that they develop these protocols where they have no value for continuation of their of their lives. And I think it's actually a failsafe that God has installed, where, hey, if you abandon me, you abandon the spirit or the application of wanting to continue yourself. And that's why you see that in all these secularized societies. They have low birth rates, absolutely abysmal birth rates. So who the fuck is gonna who's gonna continue your society? Oh, now you're stuck importing from societies that actually believe in God. You're stuck importing people from there, and they're going to be the inheritors of all this wealth that you think you built. It's absolutely insane when you look at it like that. So I do agree, birth rate has to be, at the top of the list. It must be.
I missed a lot of the conversation, so I'm not sure where you are in it. If somebody wants to recap. If not.
No, I think because Mike had to dip, because we were really having it with Mike, but he had to leave. So
Occasionally I post stuff about birth rates.
it's very important.
Let me see if I can find it. It's in the Discord, of course, which is linked up top. Hold on.
I mean, you literally see white people today. I mean, not everybody, but there's a growing, increased concern amongst white people and their disappearance or genocide. You see a lot of this rhetoric, right?
I'm sorry, genocide of white people?
Yes, because they have low birth rates and they feel like people.
How is that a genocide?
Because they believe the logic is that it's on purpose, that there are certain messages being pumped into the society that discourage white birth rates.
That's not genocide. That doesn't qualify as genocide.
So I'm not saying that it does. I'm just saying that that's how they see it. Because there's messaging. There's certain medical procedures, X, Y, and Z. Certain.
What are those medical procedures?
So like the pill, IUDs, stuff of that sort, where again, giving birth or having children is discouraged. For instance, a nuclear family is no longer pushed as a family, unit to have, that type of stuff.
Okay, well, I just posted a link. It says that the overall, for everybody, not just white people, fertility rate in the U.S. dropped to an all-time low for 2024, which was fewer than 1.6 children being born per woman. The U.S. was once among only a few developed countries with a rate that ensured each generation had children to replace itself, and that would be about 2.1 kids per woman. But it's actually been a downward slide. Some periods slower than others for the last 2 decades. So I would look at a few things, like what was the story arc for the other developed nations and what occurred during that 20-year periods, or even the events preceding the last 20 years that might have impacted the next 20 years.
I think it has a lot more to do with the economy, consumerism, and housing, and just I think there are so many compounding factors that one I would not ever assign it as a genocide, but also there are other things to remedy before you get to making people feel comfortable with starting a family.
No, I hear that.
What did that come back to? What we got talking?
Conversation of birth rates. And their importance to and their importance to the conversation of whether society is dominant, intelligent versus other societies. I actually agree with Jimmy that, because a lot of people don't intuitively think birth rates have something to do with whether society is intelligent or not, but it absolutely does. So it's just not something that most people jump to. They don't jump to that and realize how important it is. So
let me ask you a question, Solomon.
Yes, sir.
Like an orange, right? We know oranges are a blended fruit.
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah.
If the two fruits blended to make oranges, or the two fruits blended to make lemons, right? Mm-hmm. Is a lemon either one of those fruits?
No, it's citrus. It's citrusy, but no, it's more citrusy than an orange. But no, I wouldn't say it's.
No, I mean lemons and oranges are two fruits that didn't occur naturally, right?
I'm not familiar with that. If you can break that down, I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, they are not naturally. I mean, they're naturally occurring now because they've been, modified. But oranges and lemons were not naturally occurring fruit.
Okay.
Right.
This is the first I'm hearing of that.
Yeah, like collard greens are not naturally occurring. You know what I mean? They grow on top of wild cabbage. Broccoli, cauliflower, they grow on top of wild cabbage. They don't just grow out willy-nilly in the wild. You can grow them in a controlled environment, yeah, but in the wild, they only grow on top of specific plants, right? So when you take two things and mix it, the thing that comes from that, either one of those things that were used to mix it, or is it something new?
Can you ask the question one more time?
If you take two things and mix them together to make another thing, right?
Yeah.
Is that thing that you use those two things to make, is it either one of those two things utilized, or is it something completely different?
In the fruit sense, it would be something different. I wouldn't say completely different, but definitely something unique and distinct.
All right. So if an Asian and an African get together and make a baby, is that maybe Asian, African, or something different?
Well, whatever their father is, that's what I would say they are.
I can dig it.
Yeah.
I was just curious how you looked at it.
Yeah, I would say whatever their father is, because obviously, even outside of Scripture, you can see God. You can see God's plan already in nature. You can argue it strictly from nature. You don't even need the Bible. You can still argue the Father from nature.
Make the argument, please.
So
make the argument.
You said make the argument?
Yeah.
Yeah. So most children look like their father. That's one. Two, when you look at the societies that have existed, skin color has never really been. It's only in modern times, but skin color has never been a marker for determining whether somebody is a ethnicity or not. So because a lot of people in modern times like to lean on color, where color was never a thing.
When you say you are what your father is, you're talking about what? What placement of the father are you referring to?
Yeah, so when we talk about identity, right, just as a concept or how it's operated in societies, men have been the one historically who have set out what a culture and identity is, from its language to its customs, how it's protected, how it's maintained. Men have done that work. Men have been instituted to do that work. So when it comes to identity, a child that adopts that outside of the physical that I just mentioned, with most children looking like their father, we start to see a picture of how important the man is to his offspring without even using scripture. So these are the things that I'm pointing to, Tally. And again, these are the things we take for granted. People take for granted how languages are created. People take for granted how customs are created. People take for granted how a society is maintained and protects itself. These things are all instituted by men, historically speaking. And that's why when you see lineage protocols in most societies, it's no wonder
when you say
they
lineage,
trace through their father.
Yeah, when you say lineage, are you talking about like culture, ethnicity? You certainly talking about race.
All of it. When how a family traces its lineage is through the father. That is in most cultures.
Better listen up.
Again, I haven't used it. Don't even make me open scripture. That puts this in.
I don't subscribe to your scripture.
Before I know that. I know homeboy left, but I just wanted to say one thing about the prior conversation before we go to the whole different conversation. Which is, it's one thing to make, the population, like, okay, so they're breeding and in this, extraordinary amount, blah, blah, blah. It's one thing to make that superior, but it's another thing to think about the ramifications of overpopulation. So, for instance, lack of resources in a given area. So I just wanted to mention that because resources are not limited, are not unlimited. So the endless breeding, if it has no end.